Hey there, so are you wanting to elevate your real estate business, take it to the next level this year? Well, you're in luck because today we are going to jump into some goal planning of what I personally do, what a lot of my national team ends up doing every single year right around this time. And depending on what time you are actually watching this video, you might be partway through the year, it might be the beginning of the year, it might even be before the year has even started. But it is never too early and it is never too late to get your game plan situated for your real estate business. And we're gonna hop into it right now. Hey there, Mariah K here. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your very first time here. I help real estate agents scale their business the modern way by leveraging the power of social media. If that's of interest to you, consider subscribing down below and make sure you tap that bell for notifications so you are notified every week I drop a new video. I hear from real estate agents like you all the time who are looking to build and scale their businesses the modern way, and I absolutely love it. So if you are thinking about building your business this way, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and it would be my pleasure to connect with you. Hey there, so you are thinking about elevating your business as you start this new year or as you start wherever you are in the year. So this video is for you if you're just starting. It is if you are a seasoned agent. It is if you are just beginning. It's if you are halfway through the year, a quarter way through the year, or the year has not even begun yet. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you six different things that will help you in your business planning for this upcoming year. So let's hop right into it. Number one is figuring out your why. Yes, figuring out your why. Why are you going to build this business? Why are you going to spend hours and weeks and why are you going to do what it is? Figuring out that will really help give you some focus. It will help give you a direction. It will help give you a purpose of why you are going to be showing up in the first place, why you are going to be doing the things that you're going to be doing. And ultimately, it'll kind of be like that self-check for you too, of when you're going, man, I'm really not feeling like showing up for work today, or oh man, I'm really not feeling like posting that post today. Once you know your why, it will give you a vision, it will give you a focus. And even on those days when you're like, man, I really don't want to show up for this today, you can still show up because you know what your why is, you know what your focus is. And when you've got your, what they say, the eye on the prize, then there's really no need to deviate because you know, hey, if I do these things, I'm going to get these results. So like I said, when you know your life's purpose, when you know your why, it's so much easier to zero in on those different things. So maybe number one is you love the industry. You like real estate. You've bought, you've sold, you've done things with real estate, and you actually really enjoy the industry. Maybe you like the financial freedom. Maybe you like that earning potential that, you know what, you're building your own business and really the options are limitless in your financial freedom and your financial goals. Maybe it's because you love helping people. You love working and communicating and collaborating with other people. You love being able to find people their dream home or to be able to help them reach their financial potential or get them, in an area or a neighborhood where, their kids are thriving, their family's thriving. Maybe you love helping with the relocation process. Figuring out your why. Maybe you have a passion for educating and you love educating your clients and teaching them the different, ways about real estate and how it all works. So really figuring out your why of what you're doing this for is really key. Going along with your why, this actually goes really nicely into that goal setting, and your why is really coming up with your commitments. What are you going to do in order to get to that why? What are you going to do? How are you going to show up so that you can zero in on the why? What are you going to commit to for yourself? Are you going to wake up at a certain time every morning so that you can get started with a miracle morning? Are you going to be showing up as your best self because you're going to be keeping yourself healthy and you're exercising and you're reading positive books? What are your commitments to yourself so that you can achieve that why? Are you going to be committing to doing hard things that might make you seem uncomfortable or might put you out of your comfort zone because you know in the long run it is going to get you to where you want to be? So really standing up for those commitments and keeping those commitments to yourself will really help you with that why. Another important piece with helping you get to your why, not only commitments, but something that I have done for years is something called affirmations. Now, some people swear by them. Some people are like, no, I don't need any affirmations. But really filling your mind with the things that you know that you believe, or even things maybe you don't believe yet, but the more you hear them over and over, all of a sudden your mind starts believing, oh wait, I am good enough. I have enough. I do enough. I am committed to, doing this in the morning. I have a positive outlook. I am strong enough. I'm grateful for all that I have. I live in joy each day. I go to sleep each night knowing that I'm going to wake up refreshed in the morning. Repeating those affirmations, reading them, internalizing them will also help you get to that why, because when you're visualizing them, when you're saying them, when you are actually feeling them, you will start to internalize that. Number 2 of actually getting your business plan intact and ready to go is simply goal planning. Yes, goal planning. Now, goal planning, I like to look at it in 2 parts. I like to look at it in the long term and I like to look at it at short term. So when I'm looking at different goals, I like to look at things about my personal goals. I like to look at my professional goals. I like to look at financial goals. I like to break it down into smaller things so it's easier for me to digest. It's easier for me to think, okay, you know what? A physical goal or a personal goal might be to wake up early in the morning and get my exercise done, to get that miracle morning started where I'm journaling, where I'm doing my affirmations, where I'm reading, I'm taking in good things. So figuring out what those are for each individual thing for short term of what I can do right now, and then things that you can do right now, but really are going to be, for the long term or that have more long-term results, or you may not see anything happening right now, but if you do those things, there will be long-term results. So really showing up for that goal planning for the long term and then also the short term is very important. So I like to take my goals and I usually try to have a few goals for each of the different areas that I'm working in. So like my professional and my personal, right? I like to have a few different goals. So if I choose one goal, I like to have 3 different steps that will help me get to that goal, and then different action items that will help me to achieve that. So for example, maybe my goal is I want to build a YouTube channel. Okay, great. Well, now I need to come up with 3 steps in order to create that YouTube channel. Maybe I'm going to start doing my research on how do I even start one. Maybe I'm going to start figuring out content that I might be posting and a list of things. Number 3 might be how to actually post it on there and what do I do after that, right? So depending on what your goal, like what your main goal is, take those 3 steps underneath and then action items. How are you going to do that? So if your main goal is, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel, and your first one is research, well, what are you going to do? What are those action steps? Maybe you are going to start watching creators that are creating content like you want to create. Maybe you are going to start interacting with them. Maybe you are going to start reading books about YouTube formula and how that all works. So really you want to narrow it down of, okay, here's the big goal. And then here are the steps in between, and here are the action items I'm going to take in order to reach that goal. So having those goals, long-term, short-term, taking the steps and really diving into the actions will get you where you want to go. Number 3 in the business planning process is going to be having a financial tracker. Yes. And we track everything. We track all of our expenses. There are lots of different programs and apps out there. We love mint.com. No, this is not being sponsored, but for us, we have just used Mint, and it's an easy way for us to, put in all of our different expenses from housing and all of that to all of my business expenses. So I have all of those business expenses in there, but having a way to track your expenses is very important, because you're going to find out what are you spending money on in your business. Track the description, track the date that you spent that, track how much it costs, and then really what it was used for, or maybe even later you can, if you're doing a deep dive and kind of an audit back into your business later on, figure out, hey, did that bring me, the gains that I wanted from that? Was it worth spending that amount of money on that piece of marketing material? Or, was I able to see results from it? So having a financial tracker will really keep you in line of, hey, is my business making money? Am I losing money? Am I spending money on things that aren't of worth and are not, giving me the results back in my business that I really want to see? If so, great. Keep doing more of that and double down. If it's not, maybe you want to pivot, or maybe you want to, not spend that money in that category that you were spending in and instead use that for something else, or don't spend it altogether. Going along with tracking finances and tracking money, actually one of my very, very, very favorite things in this process is tracking your GCI. Yes, tracking your gross commission income is so fun. I have to say personally, I love starting out in the beginning of that new year. Again, when I'm usually planning my new year out, I'm doing it about 2 months in advance, maybe even 3 months, so that I'm already starting to work on these things before the new year actually hits. So then I already feel like, hey, I'm boots on the ground. I'm already running. But when you're finding out your GCI, your gross commission income tracker, you want to figure out, same thing, kind of big picture. How much do you realistically want to make? I remember the first time I was meeting with my real estate mentor many, many, many years ago. She asked me, she's like, hey, so Mariah, how much do you want to make this year? And in my brain, I'm like, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it yet. She's like, are you serious? And I was like, well, and at the time I was teaching elementary school. So I was like, well, I guess it'd be fun to make more money than I'm making as an elementary teacher. How cool would that be, right? And running my own business. And she goes, let's shoot a little bit higher. And I was like, oh, really? How much more? She's like, okay, let's just do, for easy math, let's just say you want to make $100,000 in the year. I said, okay, great. I like even numbers. That's easy. So she's like, really, we need to reverse engineer this. So if you want to make $100,000 for the year, take your average price point, your average sale within your market. Every market's going to be different. If you are in California, the price point in California is way more than if maybe you're in Michigan, or you're in Alabama, or even here in Utah. So your price point is going to be different. But if you take your average price point and you multiply that by the average commission. So depending again on the state that you are in, let's just say the average home sale is $500,000. And then let's say the average commission is 3%. You're gonna take those, you're gonna multiply them together, and that is going to give you the average commission that you will be earning for each house sold. Does that make sense? So when you're going into it, all of a sudden now, if you're thinking, okay, I want to make $100,000 and the average house price is $500,000 and the average commission is 3%. Again, we're just doing this for even numbers. Some it's 2.5%, some it's 3.5%, some it's 2, some it's 3, right? But if we just take 3% average commission, you're going to divide that $100,000 by that average commission, which was $15,000, we're going to come up with 6.6. So when you are actually going back to your tracker, you're trying to figure out, okay, if I want to make this amount of money, I take my average, I divide it, and then I need to figure out, oh, okay, so if I want to make $100,000, I need to sell 6 homes that year, which means I need to sell a house every other month. Okay, well, that doesn't seem as bad when you put it like that, right? And so sometimes if we just break it down into those smaller pieces and we can take a look at hey, if I want to make this, then this is what I need to, actually, how many houses I actually need to sell, it makes it much more manageable, and our brain is able to take that in and go, oh, I can do that. Like, I can sell 6 houses a year. Maybe you want to make twice that much. Okay, well, then you're selling 12 houses. You're selling 1 a month. Okay, there might be some months that you sell no houses and some that you sell 2, 3, 4 houses. So figuring out what you want to make and reverse engineer that will drastically help you. 4 is a yearly glance. Yes, a yearly glance. And what this is going to do for your business plan is this is going to help you have the big picture. Remember how we talked about the long-term and the short-term goals? Well, having that long-term big picture will really, really help you out. I have just a binder, and in my binder, I have a lot of the long-term goals, the short-term goals. In this, I am able to put, I've got one sheet that has important dates, like important dates maybe in January, February, March, April, things that I need to know. Number 2 in there, I've got for my yearly kind of big picture, hey, how many houses have I sold? I have a tracker that has each time I can like cross off that, yep, got that one. Oh, sold that one, helped that family. Yep, there we go. Oh gosh, I only have 2 more houses I need to sell to meet my goal. If I go over, then that's just gravy, right? So having that. In here too for yearly, I have a birthday calendar. I have all of my clients' birthdays. I've got my sphere of influence, their birthdays. So for me, I love reaching out to clients on birthday, for their birthdays. I do the same for pop by gifts. I love dropping off gifts for friends, for families, for clients. And I've got a calendar in there set up of, okay, in January, I'm going to drop this off. February, this is going to happen. March, April, right? And so I've got a whole yearly glance of those different things. So it just keeps me on track. So it's like, hey, you know what? It's January right now. I already know this is what I'm planning out for the year to do for client appreciation. This is what I'm doing for my family this year. This is what I'm doing for friends. So having that plan, it takes a lot of the guesswork out. And in turn, it will help you be more successful in your business. And number 5 is monthly. I do the same thing not only for yearly, but I do the same sort of audit and review monthly. I look back at the month. Hey, this is how many houses I sold. This is how much income I made. This is how many new leads I got. This is, kind of a snapshot of what happened in that month. Maybe I was on the vacation that whole month and nothing happened. Maybe I was in busy season and I was grinding. It was busy and maybe this next month I get to let the foot off the gas a little bit. And so just really gauging and taking an audit of that. And then number 6 is very similar to 5, but this is going to be your weekly and your monthly goals. So it's almost the same thing as monthly. And instead of taking a deep dive with that, your weekly goals. Hey, how many new leads did I get? How many clients did I reach out to? How many new prospects did I have? What did I do to interact with my sphere of influence? How many phone calls did I make that week? How many videos did I shoot? How many, times did I upload to my social media platforms? What am I putting out there? And by having those trackers, you will be able to see where you're putting your time and energy into your business. And then long term, what will end up happening is when you get a lead from Instagram, you can look back and go, oh, okay, yeah, you know what? I've been posting consistently for a year. I've been posting consistently for 2 months, for 3 months, and it's paying off because I'm putting the time in my business. The same thing goes for weekly, where if hey, I made 50 calls this week, or I, did 50 texts, or I sent out 10 letters, or I sent my email out, or my newsletter, whatever it is, track those things so you can see where you're putting your time, your effort, your energy into your business. And hopefully later you'll be able to track back, oh, hey, you know what? By doing this, I ended up getting this result. And ultimately, we want, good results because ultimately we want to build our business. We want to help more people. And financially, we want to sell more homes because the more homes we sell, the more people we are able to help. And hopefully, the more people we are able to help, we are able to help our own families as well. So if you are looking to build your business and scale social media this modern way, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. I hear from real estate agents like you all the time, and I absolutely love it. Take care and have a great one. Bye.